Welcome to the Prepped and Polished podcast, the podcast that empowers you to take control of your education, featuring weekly interviews with influencers in the world of education, as well as tutoring tips, lessons, and updates. And now, here's your host, Alexis Avila.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Prepped and Polished podcast episode, tutoring tips episode. It's Alexis Avila of the Prepped and Polished podcast. Make sure to check out our website if you need in-person or online tutoring or test preparation. We work one-on-one with you. And just go to preppedandpolished.com and you'll get all the info you need. You can join our Prepped and Polished community on Facebook and Twitter. Just type Prepped and Polished into the search bar. And if you have a question or a reaction during or after this podcast, just jump on our chat box feature on our website. Go to preppedandpolished.com. You can chat with us and we'll answer your questions. We love hearing from you. Let's get right to episode 191. This is vocabulary memorization shortcuts for the SAT. So the SAT changed, and they got rid of sentence completions, which required a lot of vocab memorization. But does that mean that you shouldn't memorize or learn or have a good vocabulary foundation? Absolutely no. You should learn vocabulary still. It's good for not only the SAT, it's good for your private school entrance examinations, your SSATs. And it's also good for, writing better papers and speaking in college and in your career. And also, if you're taking the SAT, if you want to answer those reading questions right, get those correct, you have to have a very good SAT vocab because they put some really high voltage vocabulary in the reading passages. So just FYI on that. So now, SAT vocab, learning it usually takes a long time. And you're going to have to read a lot and, play a lot of Scrabble. But the chances are you don't have a lot of time to read, War and Peace with your test a couple months away. So here's a shortcut method of memorizing tons of SAT vocab words. This is what I do. So what you want to do is you want to buy a really good SAT level vocabulary book with a lot of vocabulary words and definitions on it. A Word Smart series is a really good series. I find helpful because there's tons of quizzes and tests at the end of each chapter to quiz you on your vocabulary. But also, even if you picked up vocabulary cartoons, if you just type that into Amazon, that they have great vocab there. Direct Hits is fantastic. Direct Hits. And basically just go through the book and all the vocabulary words. But what you're going to want to do is transfer all the words that you missed, that you got wrong, that you don't know, you're hazy on, and transfer them onto flashcards. That's my big tip for you. So you're going to take that big list of words that you're hazy on, got wrong, that you missed along the way, and transfer them onto flashcards. You're going to take that, you're going to make flashcards. One by one with those words. On one side of the flashcard, you're going to have the word itself. On the other side, you're going to have not only the definition of the word, but also a sentence using the word in context. Then what you're going to do is play a flashcard game, where you simply are going to go through your stack of flashcards, do one pass, and you're going to separate them into two piles, a pile of words that you know and a pile of words that you don't know. And the name of the game is basically to get the pile of words you don't know down to 0. Then finally, what I want you to do, and this is a huge tip because a lot of people don't do this, but you want to take a couple, after you go through your vocabulary word stacks, you got to take a break. Take a couple days off from the vocab and come back to the big list of vocabulary flashcards. Go through the stack again, the whole stack, and see if you can nail all the words. Because if you missed a few words going through that stack after taking 2 days off, that means you really have to study those words harder because it hasn't sunk into your long-term memory yet. So you got to keep on practicing. So try that shortcut technique. So for memorizing SAT vocab, SSAT vocab, and just let me know if you have any questions. That was episode 191. Vocabulary memorization shortcuts for the SAT. Be on the lookout for our next podcast episode 192. It'll be our next interview with an educational expert. And remember to access all of our podcast episodes. Just go to preppedandpolished.com/podcast or go to soundcloud.com/preppedandpolished. Thanks for joining us on the Prepped and Polished podcast. Now go out there and take control of your education.
You've been listening to the Prepped and Polished podcast. For more information, check out preppedandpolished.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening. Class dismissed.